Welcome back to another episode of Jason's Life in 5. Today we are in Fort Collins, Colorado. Just, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes or an hour north of Denver. And we are going to start our day with something you don't see every day. Well, at least not at this scale. We're going to look at a can of soup. Look at the size of this can of tomato soup. We are at the Colorado State University campus. I believe this is the Center for Arts here. And how epic is this? So this immense can of tomato soup was actually designed by Andy Warhol in 1981. He actually signed it upon arrival. It's kind of cool they've preserved that. You can see Tanya there. Gives you an idea of the size. I don't know how many bowls of soup that would make, but that would certainly be a lot. They have a little plaque here that shows when it arrived and when he signed it. Yeah, pretty neat. So we arrived in Fort Collins last night after a long drive, and it's not our final destination, just our overnight stay, but we had to see that. We're actually headed into Denver today. We have a few little adventures planned, some cool stuff to check out, and glad to have you come along. Alright, so we are on the interstate, I-25 to be exact. We are headed south towards Denver, but the stop we're going to make is about 10 or 12 miles down the road, and it's somewhere I always stop anytime I come to Denver. Not that I come here a ton, but every time I do, it's a must-do on my bucket list. Alright, we are here. I have made it to Buc-ees. That's right. I'm a big fan of Buc-ees. Got my Buc-ees mug. We'll go get a drink. Already filled up the car with gas, but they have all kinds of Beaver goodness in here. So let's go see what we can find today. You can get in the Easter spirit with your blow-up Beaver bunny. So a lot of people think Buc-ees is just a gas station. It is not like any gas station I have ever seen. Got their brisket bar. You can see them slicing up the brisket. They also do chopped beef. They make these amazing Texas barbecue sandwiches. So Buc-ees is a Texas-based company, and I guess it's the world's biggest epitome of everything's bigger in Texas, because this is like no place else you'll ever find. It's just, I guess, American excess to the extreme. And I think we might see Buc-ee today. So I have been into a number of Buc-ees in various states, and I'm always blown away by how much stuff they have, how big it is, and how many people are here. Really just buying needless stuff we probably don't need. But that's why we love it. They even have a section with, you know, camping and fishing supplies. You know, just your normal run-of-the-mill gas station stuff. It's not often you see a gas station full of clothing. Bigfoot spotted at Buc-ees. Look at that. I've got the cinnamon sugar pecans. My daughter loves those Buc-ees glazed nuts. You've got the fudge bar, all kinds of different fudge. Their bakery is just switching over from breakfast to lunch. You can see lots of cookies and bars of goodness. And if sweets are not your thing, they have a jerky bar. Now, one of my favorite things they actually have here is the jalapeno cheddar sausage biscuit. And while I was getting gas, my wife ran in and caught them just as they were pulling those. So fortunately, we will get to have some of that tastiness in our life today. They have a large number of soda fountains, and you'll notice no Coke or Pepsi. It's all Buc-ees except for Dr. Pepper, which is a Texas drink. And they have a whole section of sauces and jellies. And I'm looking at the taco sauce and I'm trying to decide which one do I want to go with here. We got some of these dill pickle Reaper, taco Reaper. But these are what I'm looking at. We've got peach habanero and pineapple habanero. I may have to go with the peach, I think. Peach is our guy. So Buc-ee has done it again. He always seems to find ways to part me from more of my money. They had one of these wall displays. I want to hang out on my shed in the backyard. So I've been looking for something like that and I've not seen it before. So I got that. And then a lot of snacks and goodies and got some hot sauce, salsa, some of those things that we don't normally have because we don't live near Buc-ee's. So let's go on to our next location of the day. So one last thing before we leave Buc-ee's. Now, if you are still not convinced about the massive size, let me show you this. Now you will notice how many gas pumps there are, and they are double on each row. So it's not just a single gas pump. It's just incredible. Oh, there's the front of the store. We're just passing it now, so you can see it continues. Always just amazes me when I come. And they're all full. You can see lots of people in line, get their gasoline. I think they told me there's over 200 gas pumps. Just ridiculous. So we are going to go in the Denver Museum of Nature and Science. They have a temporary display around Lego, and that's the main reason I'm here, frankly. Big fan of Lego. I have another channel anyways. You can, if you want really heavy Lego content, you can go there. But we're going to go in and check it out. This is one of the few times you'll see more extensive Lego content. But we're going to go in and check it out and see what some of these sculptures are. Maybe we find some other cool stuff. So behind me is something that's soon to be a relic. It's a pressed penny machine, and with pennies being discontinued, I assume we're not going to be able to press souvenir pennies. Maybe it'll be like a copper disc or something that we'll end up doing. Looking as we go up to the second level, there's something kind of fun over here. I think this is what we're headed to see. It's a brick-built hummingbird. Flower. Look at that. Egyptian mummies. Let's check out the mummies. I always wonder when I come to these museums, are they originals or are they replicas? So I think that's what a lot of these things end up being. Yeah, this was created in 1994, so here you have a 2,900-year-old mummy. It says that they think that the seller moved this mummy into this coffin afterwards, but the mummy is authentic. Kind of neat to see some of these old Egyptian exhibits. I think there's always some mystery that people have around Egypt and, you know, the pyramids, mummies, all of that kind of stuff. A lot of things we just don't know. And this coffin lid, it says, is over 3,000 years old. Look at that paint. Still looks pretty good. Now this mummy, it says the coffin was not her own, that it was made 600 years before, and asks, can you figure out why? Looks like this person doesn't quite fit, so that would be my guess why. A little bit short for a stormtrooper. Alright, we've made it to the Brick Planet display. Let's go check it out. So upon entering, you can see the first thing here is a life-size bicycle made out of Lego bricks. Kind of cool, and the little pathway is made out of small vehicles. Coming around the corner, you can see some massive nature displays. Look at that caterpillar and leaf. And you've got the peacock over there. Bald eagle. Pretty appropriate with it being the 250th anniversary of America this year. Pretty cool. Look at this polar bear with 3 cubs. Got 2 at the base and then the one climbing up over her. Pretty incredible. This one is, I think, the most bricks so far. It's like 133,000 bricks. Just amazing how someone can make that. Looks like we've got a family of deer here. Buck, doe, and fawn. 84,000 bricks. 542 hours. And there's a woodpecker up on the tree there, so that's pretty cool. And then we've got a couple smaller items here. We have a mouse. Kind of like that mouse. And then a snake. Something bad's about to happen to that mouse, I think. Pretty cool looking lion. Even got whiskers. Continuing in the, I don't know, African safari area, we have a wildebeest. See, munching on some Lego bricks. Nice back end of a zebra, and there's a front end of a zebra. I don't know if it's quite actual size, but it is impressive nonetheless. And then as we move our way towards the exit, you can see they've got a little area for kids to make flowers and some garden things. So not as many big displays, but just kind of more fun interactive stuff. Let's go check out the prehistoric journey and see what's in this part of the museum. To the dinosaurs. I want to see dinosaurs. Dinosaur Overlook. You're looking ahead to the Mesozoic era. The age of dinosaurs. Dinosaurs inhabited the Earth for more than 150 million years. Mammals also evolved during the Mesozoic era, although they were overshadowed by the mighty dinosaurs. Let's go see some dinos. There's a long dino. Whew. So I know I've seen a lot of things about scientists saying that dinosaurs are more closely related to birds and stuff like that, and I've seen velociraptors that actually had feathers and stuff, which no one really knows because we didn't see them, but it certainly gives you a different look on all of these dinosaurs if they did have feathers all over them instead of the scales and the scary roars. Who knows? This is exactly what I was just talking about. Let's see, there's a big bird. So we have found the woolly mammoth skull. Look at the size of those tusks. Just incredible. Massive. Looks like they have an area dedicated to space exploration, so let's go check that out. That's always fun. Maybe we'll find some Star Wars or something. Got a display of the Mars rover. Behind it you can see a rocket jet, at least a simulated one. This area we have a recreation of Mars. Oh, you can see Tanya's there in the space dome, I guess, looking out at her backyard. Hi! Alright, so we are done at the museum. That was fun. Couple hours. Fun to see the Lego displays for sure. Now we're gonna, I think we're gonna go get some food. The hunger is hitting. So our family has a tradition every Saturday. We like to head up In-N-Out. And fortunately they're here in Denver, so we're gonna go and get us some In-N-Out burger. So we are just outside of the Denver area. We're actually out at the Red Rocks. You might know the Red Rocks Amphitheater where they have a lot of concerts. And this building, it's the Red Rock Trading Post. It actually was built in 1931. It's built in a Native American or Indian Pueblo style is what it says. It was originally built for like tourists headed to the mountains, but yeah, and it preceded the amphitheater by I think 10 years, it said. So kind of interesting building. Unfortunately it's closed, so we can't go in, but we'll look around, see what we can find. I'm not sure if we'll be able to check out the amphitheater or not. Might be a concert, who knows. You can see a trail cut into the Red Rock up there. People walking up. We are headed up the trail and it is pretty steep. We live at like 42 or 4,500 feet above sea level, so we're pretty used to elevation, but this is more. And it doesn't help that we're climbing. Steep slanted rocks are pretty cool. Sign talks about the history of the ramp. You can see we've already made it a good way. Started there, we are here. There's the amphitheater, right there. A little bit more uphill, and then I think we'll be there. At least we hope. So made it to the amphitheater, it's here behind me. There's a visitor center up there. According to the sign, you can take the stairs all the way up and burn 40 calories. I don't know if that's worth it. Let's go in the Red Rocks Visitor Center. See what's going on in here. Not sure if anything is open. We'll take a look. Got the Red Rocks Hall of Fame. Got the Red Rocks Hall of Fame. Some big names up there. Tom Petty, the Beatles, Jimmy Buffett, John Denver, Blues Travelers, Stevie Nicks, Sting. Pretty cool. So this hallway is called Music Alley, and it's a listing, I guess, of all of the artists that have ever played here. So you come over here, for example, you can see 1964, August 26th, the Beatles played here. Now they're inducted, I guess, in the Hall of Fame. That's another part here, but surprisingly enough, their concert did not sell out. At least that's what it said. They said there were people there that said it was packed, but who knows. But it's kind of neat because you've got all of the different bands and performers that have been here. There's all kinds of bands that have performed here. Pretty amazing, and they've captured all of this. Willie Nelson, John Denver played here multiple times, Grateful Dead. 1983, you had U2, ZZ Top, Tom Petty, B-52s, Flock of Seagulls, Kenny Loggins, John Denver, Jimmy Buffett, Aerosmith, Talking Heads, Rick Springfield, Grateful Dead, Culture Club. Wow.
I think they said it was just freedom.
Pretty incredible when you look at all of the performers that have been here. Film on the rocks, you could have seen Indiana Jones. That would have been pretty freaking cool to see. Talks about the creation of the amphitheater here. Took inspiration from some of the Greek amphitheaters. Shows how they built this during the Depression. Pretty neat. The stage way down there. Incredible view of Denver in the distance. See downtown out there. Not sure if this is just zooming in enough. See all the greater Denver area. It'd be a pretty neat place to see a show, I think. Well, it's getting late and we have some driving to do. So we're gonna get on the road, and I think this adventure is over for the day. But we'll see you next time on another episode of Jason's Life in 5.